modern politics, and it's garbage. Everything about it, I can't say anything good about this. I'm going to jump the gun and say, fuck you, whoever made it.
Howard,
and I hate you.
Howard Chaykin actually, he did all the original Star Wars comics from Marvel.
Did he?
Yeah.
Fuck him. It's garbage. It's the highest praise I can reap on garbage. It's the worst thing I've ever read on this podcast, and I hope you kill yourself.
Hey, Imagine Dragons, we just made your next song.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah. We're going to release that as a single on iTunes.
Yeah, you can have that piece of crap.
Grown-up, human, comic, people! Grown-up, human, comic, people!
All right, welcome to the show. This is Volume 2, Episode 41 of Grown-Up Human Comic People. I'll go around the table, introduce everybody. Chris?
Oh. Yeah, all right. Wait, I don't even know what channel you are, Chris.
Tell
damn
them
it.
say something.
Oh, you messed it up.
Okay, 5. Go for it, Chris.
I don't think it worked.
I don't think it worked.
No.
It didn't work.
I did wrong-
Anyway.
wrong
I
channel.
just wanted that noise I always make have the epic noise.
Becky?
Ahoy.
J-Man?
Hey.
And Greg?
Greetings.
I'm Jared. We're the humans. Welcome to the show. Cheers, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Do a cheers here. Everybody got some drink?
Nostravia. Chris, what are you drinking?
There we go.
Some type of Russian, except it's mostly tequila.
I think you're drinking a Black Mexican.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Really?
I've been doing Kahlua, tequila, and a little bit of milk.
It's not a Russian if it's not vodka.
Yeah, so Black Mexican.
Would be the Kahlua.
It's
and
still a communist
tequila.
drink with tequila.
Is it Kahlua in there?
Tequila, come on, pretty man. Oh, sorry.
Oh, gosh.
Come on, slightly attractive mama.
It's not as black as Jared is.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
If I'm drunk enough, mama. This is
it's pretty milky.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what we're talking about. So, you can find us at grownuphumans.com, epicastnetwork.com/grownuphumans. Go to Epicast if you want to start a podcast. They do a good job. Rate and review us on iTunes, Google Music, Stitcher, Libsyn, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Grown Up Human Comic People. Although, I haven't uploaded a SoundCloud file in a really long time because
No one listens to it.
Well, I'm not sure people do or not. I should probably get back on that.
Well, the other thing about SoundCloud is that it's held together by bandages right now.
Yeah.
They're about to shut down any day.
Okay.
Really? Oh yeah, they're in deep trouble. Yeah, I think Chance the Rapper over the summer he made a major contribution to them to keep them afloat for a while. But even he was like, I don't think it's going to work anymore. So you can still go there. You can still. I don't know by the time this releases. Maybe they are shut down. But as of the beginning of August, you can still use SoundCloud. But it's not. Don't buy stock in that. It's bad. It's
so
real
shout
bad.
out to them.
You can get our new album on there, by the way. It's definitely on there.
Wait, are you being facetious or you
No,
really
it's on
get
there.
Yeah, because you can still use it, and it's fine. Yeah, go download some Midnight Rose Grooves.
I'm going to tell you why SoundCloud's in trouble, why they're going to shut down, because...
It's their volume.
Yes! God damn it, yes! What? So it's not just me, right?
No, it's just you complain about this more than I think I've ever heard you complain about anything.
Wow.
It's part of your personality at this point.
So every time someone, I'm not sure if they fixed it, but every time someone would link a SoundCloud link to me, I could for the life of me not fucking find the volume, and the default is it's turned all the way up. So I would go to the website, and it would just be the volume would be fucking blasting, and I couldn't find the volume knob. It's not right on the player at all. It's there's an options tab or something. I don't
It's
know.
real stupid. It pops straight up. It doesn't go sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's hard to find. So it took every time it would take me a minute to find the volume, and I just stopped listening to SoundCloud files. Fuck this. I don't need to have my ears destroyed every single time I click on a link.
I think when I last looked, it's on the bottom somewhere, bottom left or whatever. It's really out of the way.
Right. It's not where you would initially think it to be.
Right. Next to the play button.
Exactly. Next
Put
to
it
the
right
play
next to the
button.
play button.
Yeah. So SoundCloud, that's your fucking fault. I tried to tell you about it. You didn't listen. So sorry for your luck. Anyway, and Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at GrownUpHumans. Make sure if you have like cool shit you're talking about, like comic stuff, tag us. We'll talk back to you and stuff like that. Whatever, Instagram or Twitter or I don't know how Tumblr works, honestly.
I don't either.
Okay. So we're sponsored by Southside Comics at 1931 East Carson Street. Go down there and check out the shop. Dan will be there, or someone who works for Dan will be there, and they can talk to you, and they're all really cool. You can get some comics there. And go to, also, SouthsideComicsPGH.com is the website. Go to RadicalTrivia.com. Vote for Radical Trivia to be the best trivia show on the City Paper thing. I'm not sure if that'll be done by this episode, but
Maybe.
whatever. Check out some local trivia shows around town. Midnight Rose, new album. Someone say something?
That's all I need to know. New album. They can get it wherever they want to get it because it's everywhere.
What's the album called?
Of a Distant Sun.
There you go. Okay,
Where can you purchase the T-shirts?
Bandcamp.
Okay.
Bandcamp.
Yeah. 10 each, which like anybody that I've sold them to is like, oh, that's pretty good for a T-shirt, and
It
most
is.
people seem to like them.
Yeah. It's Midnight with a K, MIDKNIGHT, on Bandcamp. And Metamesh, Becky, you want to say Metamesh stuff?
We are a 501c3 charity that provides free public Wi-Fi for developing neighborhoods, but we're expanding to just Pittsburgh in general because most of Pittsburgh's public Wi-Fi sucks dick.
Yeah.
And thanks to ComCrap, most municipalities can't put out new Wi-Fi without their right of first refusal. So as a 501c3, we can actually get around that. And we are going to be starting with Market Square with free, up-to-date public Wi-Fi, not from 2007.
Nice.
So, check out our website. We're going to be doing big things in the next year.
Metamesh.org.
Yes, sir.
So first segment, we got some Whatchin's doing from everybody except for Korea. Twin Peaks.
I've seen it. Yeah.
I've seen it.
Seen?
Yep.
Okay. So,
The new one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally am. So I'm on the 4th or 5th episode.
I'm on
of
the
this.
second.
Okay. So we'll just kind of vaguely
Okay.
discuss what we've all seen.
You want to vaguely discuss a David Lynch thing?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
That's a vague reference
if,
to a vague reference.
If I specifically discussed any of it, we would be here for a really long time and no one would get anything done. We'd have no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
Here's what I can say about Twin Peaks. Man, David Lynch gets some hot girls. That's in so much that's not tangible. This is tangible.
Yeah.
You can reach out and touch it. It's right there. Naomi Watts still looks good. Oh, damn it! Okay, because it was a surprise to me whenever I saw her. I'm not going to say who she is or whatever, but she's man. Anyway, of Mulholland Drive fame. So I'm really happy to see her again in this thing. He does seem to get. Okay, so this is brief introduction. This is the 3rd season of Twin Peaks. First season had 7 episodes. The second season had like 20.
That's a lot.
Which was about 13 too many.
Yeah.
And so there's that. And that what happened was, okay, so the briefly, because this will be like 60 seconds or less, hopefully, because people hopefully have seen some of this stuff or have some idea. If you haven't, it's worth checking out, I think. But
There's some jokes in there, so it's not all this. So go ahead.
You should say that it was premiered in 1990. It was a while ago.
Yeah, on ABC. Now, weirdest thing I'm pretty sure to have ever been on ABC. It's a murder mystery. So here's like the
What channel was Alf on?
Oh,
I thought that was NBC. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure Fox.
Yeah. Okay. So continue.
yeah. But I guess that's notable for them too. Anyway, yeah, it's a neat premise for a like whodunit thing. It's the story. Episode 1, season 1 opens with who killed Laura Palmer. Like they discover her body and washed up, wrapped in plastic, as Pete says, and it's there's an FBI investigation. Dale Cooper, Special Agent Dale Cooper, played expertly by Kyle MacLachlan.
Who I love, by the way.
Yeah, he's
Love that
great.
guy.
We got to fuck Elizabeth Berkley in Showgirls.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that him?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was the same dude or not. I
Yeah.
was like, is this the dude who bangs that chick in the pool?
Yeah. Whenever she looks like she's having a seizure.
Yeah.
The best sex scene of all time.
I didn't realize that
And
was
for
him.
you basic bitches, he played the captain in How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah. So that most people say, like, even like Twin Peaks fans will say that first season is awesome, and the second season is like cool at
Not.
parts. Yeah, right. It's cool at parts because like it's intermittently it's cool, but unfortunately, what happened was they at the end of the first season the show's creators like caught some flack because people, like, the feedback after the final episode said like, oh, what the fuck, you didn't reveal who the killer was at the end of the season. Well, of course not, because we wanted to keep going on. And I guess that they caved to that pressure halfway through the second season. And after that reveal, okay, now where do you go? So then it's just like this meandering, like, oh, what are these characters doing now? And they're bringing in like all these weird people. In fact, the woman who plays, I saw an interview with the woman who plays Lucy, whose name I don't know, blonde girl. She said that
Blonde woman.
Blonde woman, sorry. I keep making that mistake. She said, yeah, I basically, like, second season, like, I stopped watching eventually because, like, I didn't know who any of these new characters were and what's Billy Zane doing there and who's this woman that James is with, and I didn't really care anymore.
So the second season is weird as fuck.
Yeah, yeah. So moving on, this third season isn't much more normal, and
Yeah.
No.
so not surprisingly, the second season the show got canceled by the time the second season ended, which sucks because it actually came back into form, I think, in the last episode and ended on a pretty good cliffhanger. And then we got nothing for a while. They threw in like a movie.
Yeah, I was about to say.
couple years later,
But it's a prequel.
It's a prequel movie. Neat idea for the prequel, which is called Firewalk with Me, by the way. It's the like where the show is the murder forward, like the discovery of the body and then the investigation of the murder. The movie, the prequel, is the events leading up to the murder, which is a cool idea, but it doesn't really answer any of the questions that the second season left us with.
It's weird and horrifying.
Yeah. So funny enough, somewhere in the last episode of season 2, there's a hint that like, oh, it'll be 25 years before anything happens again because of something else. And here it is, 25 years later, we have season 3 by coincidence, and most of the actors are there, and it's cool, but it's definitely still super weird, and it's on Showtime now, so there's no commercials. This is my criticism. Part of my criticism of it is that where previous seasons were like 45-ish minutes long, this is just about an hour. But what used to be the time that used to be taken up by commercials is now taken up by so much like long music sequences and
It's too long.
yeah, it's there are some things that definitely could have been trimmed down.
Well, to me, it seems like an episode of like SNL or like All That or something where there's always a fucking musical guest.
I
in
was
it.
just thinking all that because I would tune out like almost every time at the end of all that.
Yeah.
because it would be an
or
entire
Chappelle
song.
Show.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
didn't like the
Oh,
band or
that's-
whoever it was, yeah, Chappelle Show is another good one.
Yeah.
If you didn't like who the music was, you had no interest.
I
in it.
turn it off even though I did like the music because I'm not watching MTV. I don't want to watch a fucking music
Yeah.
video. Like I don't give a shit about
I
that.
agree.
Every show that's ever done that, stop putting musical guests in your fucking shows. I don't give a fuck about that.
I feel the same way about Saturday Night Live.
For sure.
I
Yeah.
don't care.
Or like any talk show. It's like
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about whatever. Like unless
Like, I
I
can go to the bathroom now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that works in the '90s. Whenever like I didn't have a cell phone in front of me, like if I'm not interested, I'm turning it off. Like I'll just do whatever, or like I'm watching on my computer, I'll just go play a game or something. Like stop with the fucking musical guests.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's it. And I'm to an extent, I feel the same way about musicals in general too, because you're just waiting for the story to move forward.
A well done musical.
Well, yeah, that's a key thing. Not all of them are.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Sometimes there's songs for no reason.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the times the song will be also part of the story. And
Yeah, it's like a whole song about like, here's how I'm feeling, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, there's value to understatement. I always say, which for that matter, I like that's one thing that I think the show, like the dynamic of these characters does pretty well, where their state of being, I don't know, like they have such a weird development arc, each of the characters, where that's one reason why I like the show in the first place, like in the earlier seasons, is that all the characters develop really quickly, and in this one, I'm still figuring it out. I don't know. It's even having seen as much as I have, I still I guess it's saying something where I don't even really know where to begin. So
Yeah,
there we go. I'll give with that.
Yeah, I've seen about, I don't know, 4 or maybe 5 episodes, and it's just fucking weird. It's real fucking weird, and they don't really tell you anything about anything. And I don't know. I don't dislike it because I like weird shit. But if you don't like weird shit, you definitely shouldn't watch this. Because you're not going to, If weird shit bores you or frustrates you, don't watch this.
I just want to throw my 2 cents in. I haven't seen any of the new season, but I was vehemently against us talking about this because all we've described is it's weird, also it's weird.
That's all anyone
all you
ever
can
says
say.
about
Okay,
it.
but
Yeah.
I will say this.
Because there's no tough.
So it premiered in 1990, which is interesting because you've got, think about what shows we got in the 80s. Cheesy sitcoms, comedies. What was there any, all right, and this premiered before the X-Files. So what, besides sci-fi B movies and whatnot, what weird shows did we have? Alf.
That was weird.
No, come on. There's been plenty of weird
There's a
shit.
lot of weird
Alfred
shit.
Hitchcock is weird.
Right.
Outer Limits is weird. The Twilight Zone is weird.
Right.
It's been
It
been
is,
there.
But you got a whole decade where there was nothing. Seriously.
I don't know. I think if we're not calling kids shows, but like every kids show in the 80s was weird as fuck.
True, but this was aimed towards adults. This was
Yeah.
at the night. And I'm just saying that because the 80s was, I was going to say a weird decade where there was, you got Reaganism and all this other stuff, and you've got boring situational comedies and then kid shows. So Twin Peaks was different because of when it came out.
Yeah. I'm kind of fucked up right now, but I feel like there's a bunch of weird shit in
No, you know what? I don't agree with this. It is weird, and it's been weird. And I agree with it being counterculture, but counterculture has existed since the 50s.
Yes, it
yeah.
has.
There was didn't V come out in the 80s?
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
And
I'm talking about
Alienation.
TV, though. So
No, V,
Yeah,
the
V
show.
was definitely TV.
Yeah.
Miniseries.
86. Yeah. All right.
But
Fair
it's,
enough.
and I mean, it's not a new concept. It's not. But it was, I agree with you, it was groundbreaking for what it was. But it's not new. It's not.
It's like a pill that you don't know you're taking along with the food though. Which is what I think about like the fact that it was on ABC. Like I'll
that's
bet
what I
that
was getting at.
I'll bet that whoever at ABC said, like, sure, yeah, I would like to have a murder mystery on our network,
Right.
not realizing that there's this whole like supernatural thing that they're only hinting at in the first couple of episodes.
Right.
That later, like I think it's like episode 3 or something where of the first season where it's like really scary in a I keep overusing the word weird, but it's like there's like a final segment that's like the last 30 seconds of the episode that's this sequence of like a fast like Kubrick zoom down a hall and like Bob and Laura screaming or something. It's been a couple years since I've seen this episode.
Yeah, I remember that.
But it's like a really quick sequence of all this stuff where it's like the first hint that you got, oh my god, this is not entirely normal at all.
Right.
Like I don't even know where I am.
The point I was trying to make was in the 80s, here's what was popular. You had Diagnosis Murder, you had Murder, She Wrote, those kind of murder mysteries. And the first episode, you're thinking, oh, this is another Diagnosis Murder. This is another Murder, She Wrote. But no, it drafted off into the sci-fi realm of strange science fiction. And it was a different show.
It's definitely a very unique show.
Yeah.
I would never
Unique.
argue that.
So I love thinking that fans of Murder, She Wrote, like people who like the housewives that were too smart to watch soap operas, but instead watched stuff like that, or like soccer moms or whatever, would watch the first couple episodes of Twin Peaks and then just get really knocked over the head when all the heavy stuff started hitting. I like to think about that.
Have you? Sorry.
No, good.
Have you guys? I don't know if you're Psych fans. I love Psych. Psych did a tribute show to Twin Peaks called Dual Spires.
I saw it.
And had half of the cast, the original cast from Twin Peaks in it.
That's awesome.
If you've never seen it, watch it. It's amazing.
Nice.
I've never watched Psych. I always hear that it's way better than you would expect it to be.
It is.
It's
yeah.
funny.
Yeah?
It's a funny version of The Mentalist, and it's very self-aware of what it is.
Yeah. I've never seen it. I like the guy from The West Wing who's in it. I forget his name.
Yeah.
What's the black guy?
Yeah.
DeLay Hill.
Yeah, that's it. Dulé Hill. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. He's great. that whole cast is great, and they very much gel. And they are having a movie
I did hear that.
at Christmas. I'm really psyched for that. Psyched for psyched. That was unintentional. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
Go to your room.
Those hot girls in season 3, by the way, I think Madeline Zima and Elena Setine, I want to say, redhead. I don't know what other movies they've been in, but I think Madeline Zima was in Californication.
Yeah, the one that
was bringing the coffee.
Coffee, yeah.
Yeah, and the other girl that Dougie works with is
The other woman that Dougie worked with.
yeah. Anyway,
The
whatever.
brunette who's all about cherries. What's her name? Do you know what I'm talking about in Twin Peaks? She still looks good.
Oh, Audrey Horne.
Audrey. Oh,
I don't know her.
Oh my God.
she was one of my first crushes.
She's
Audrey. Oh,
Yeah, she's
Perfectly cast.
gorgeous. Yeah, blue eyes. Man. Oh, man. Anyway, okay, I'm just trying to focus after you. I forgot about her. So let's go to the Divided States of Hysteria.
oh my God.
Becky.
Okay, this is an image book created by Howard Chaykin.
Who did Midnight of the Soul, which we did before?
Right. He's both the writer and the artist, and Jesus Abertov did the coloring. This is going to be highly biased because, I'll be honest, I hated this book. The art's not bad. The premise is the United States, about a month after a coup, takes out the President of the United States and most of the cabinet. And I'll be honest, and it follows a few CIA operatives and some other people in law enforcement who are trying to deal with these insurgents who have taken, in various parts of the world, I might add. But I'll be honest, I've read it thrice through, and I suffered severely from analysis paralysis because there's so much going on, and it's so pretentious. And here, I'll read you a little bit. American, they fought a revolution, fought a civil war, weathered 2 world wars, a depression, a cold war, finally found their exceptionalism soured, unable to raise their eyes from their mythologizing, self-serving self-obsession, to shake off the post-crisis malaise and move on to whatever shitstorm lays ahead. Shut up. God damn it. It just, look, we know most Americans aren't dumb. Most Americans didn't vote for, hear me out. Most Americans didn't vote for Trump. We understand that there's a lot of white trash, crappy people out there, but this is insulting those people. And this comic is basically preaching to the choir, insulting that American exceptionalism, that ignorant, Kardashian watching people. But we're not them.
It seems like it might be like a bit of a circle jerk,
right?
Because of the kind of people who buy comics,
circle jerk
generally the people who are going to be like, "Oh, what the hell is he talking about? I don't like this at all."
Yeah.
They're probably like, "Yeah, no, I agree with most of this." Mm-hmm. It's like it might be like a bit of a,
Circle jerk is probably the best way. I didn't even think of that, and it's just.
I don't even agree with that. I think it's a vendetta against modern politics. And it's garbage. Everything about it, I can't say anything good about this. I'm going to jump the gun and say, fuck you, whoever made it.
Howard,
and I hate you.
Howard Chaykin actually, he did all the original Star Wars comics from Marvel.
Did he?
Yeah.
Fuck him. It's garbage. It's the highest praise I can reap on garbage. It's the worst thing I've ever read on this podcast, and I hope you kill yourself. That's how much I hate it.
I understand, talking about, America's blind, stupidity and these Trumpkins that are walking around, but he doesn't even do it in a clear, concise way. It's just like, look at what's going on. It's just a mess.
Also, the art's shit. I don't care what anybody says. It looks weird, and it's not well done.
Well, that's actually where I was going to chime in. That was where I was going to enter because you had said something about the art being okay. Like I think
okay.
the landscapes and stuff, like all the cityscapes or whatever, like that looked fine. But like the characters,
fuck it.
No, all the cities and stuff look fine. What looks kind of weird and maybe intentionally shitty is
Faces?
the people.
Yeah.
They're all like
yeah.
diseased looking or something.
And you know why? Because, okay, I'm going to be reaching with this, but I was actually really offended by the way that he kind of like is trying to push the trans.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody looks ugly and male and female at the same time. I don't understand that at all, because if you're trying to push the whole, like, we support trans people, which I do, that's not the way to go about it. It looks awful. It looks like everybody has a mustache and a small penis, and they're all trying to stick their small penises and other small penises and docking each other and rubbing each other's mustaches on their faces. Fuck you.
He can't draw children. Look at his children. They're the ugliest kids.
They're the ugliest. Everybody's the ugliest.
Yeah,
When you said you support trans people, you kind of sound like Gervais in The Office when he says like starving children, which I hate.
No,
Trans people, which I do support, by the way.
it's garbage. Everything
Yeah.
about, like, I hope this guy hears this and has something
He's a
to
big
say
fan.
to me. Come on.
I just,
Howard Jenkins doesn't give a fuck about what you
It's
say.
not just the kids that look ugly in this. Yeah, I was going to not limit it
Everybody.
to that.
yeah. And it seems like this is a neckbeards rant put onto a disorganized clusterfuck of a comic. And that's my review of it.
My other thought was that the like all the panels, like the dialogue, it wasn't really clear who was talking.
Yeah.
It was,
Right.
I ended up wasting so much time just figuring out, okay, is this because they're doing it in the thought bubbles or what do you call them?
Narration.
Narration
bubbles.
bubbles,
Yeah,
yeah.
like they're just for no good reason that I can figure out, they're not done in a conventional way, and so I'm spending too much effort figuring out which dialogue belongs to what character. And
Well,
yeah, the whole thing with the I guess as a trans person or of some kind that was the prostitute. Like I was figuring out, is this person who on this screen or who on this page is talking right now, and it was too much. I mean, that happened multiple times. So,
to address that,
yeah.
So whenever you have so there's the segment with like the CIA guy or whatever, or is he the president now? I don't know who.
No, he's
Frank?
just a CIA operative,
CIA?
it says.
Okay. So whenever you get to like one of these little vignettes with the people who are getting arrested,
Yeah.
like the first guy, his narration bubble is purple. Like,
Right, they're different colors.
Yeah, they're different colors. That's usually how in comic books you know who is talking. Like Marvel does, like for example, like when the Black Panther speaks, it's usually a black bubble with white lettering. Or like if Captain America speaks, it's black and white lettering, but like with a blue. Actually, his whole bubble might be blue. I don't know.
Neil Gaiman uses different fonts
Sure.
for different people.
Yeah. And so every time you get to a different thing, whenever there's like a narration, it's the person who is the subject of that, I think, is speaking.
Okay.
And they're all different colors.
All right.
So that's the only way you can like for example the trans prostitute, hers is like a gray color.
But they're introducing them left and right, so it's
Yeah.
like they're all like you're reorienting yourself each page turn.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one thing where if I can like kind of give any sort of leap of faith, and I'm not really, but it's like they're setting up all these characters. Like, is this going to be the dream team of something? Because like it's like a half dozen people that get arrested for various crimes, really various ways of committing murder or multiple homicides.
That's exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah, and so like, is this all issue one? This is all like a origin story, and then like issue 2 is really where the story is going to pick up, where these characters are part of some plot.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, maybe it'll be interesting, but that's a leap of faith that I'm not really willing to take.
Well, it's like you definitely have to read this a couple times to even get a grip on what's going on. And I think so. There's like there's the regular story, which is this Frank Villa guy, and then with that kind of you get little vignettes of that in between the other stories. So there's Frank, and then there's all these people who are being arrested.
Right.
And so Frank's story at the end of the first issue ends with what looks like a terrorist attack. Looks like a pregnant. Or seemingly pregnant Muslim woman.
Well, there's a scene where there's a medical student who's pretending he's operating on her so she looks pregnant.
Exactly.
She gets away with
right,
it.
Yeah. Anyway, so it looks like she either blows up or something at the end. So there's Frank's story, and then there's the other stories who are presumably. I'm going to guess that Frank is recruiting these people to help him in some way. to combat whatever the antagonist of his main story is. But it's not clear upon. It actually took me listening to you guys speaking to come to that conclusion. So
it just seems like, and I hate this quarter, right? And hitting on what Chris said, he's trying to offend and get these like poignant political, like this is different. This is American exceptionalism, and you guys, I hate it. And the way that it ends is pretentious, like boom. Like, yeah, guys, I hit you with that. And then, and next issue, things get worse. Nope, impossible. I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but you can make a point about the political climate without being pretentious and douchey and confusing your readers.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm an incredibly offensive person. I know that.
Agreed.
I understand. Yeah, everybody knows that. I'm stating the obvious here. This is so distasteful. Everything about it. Everything about it. Because, and here's why. I get being offensive more than anybody else ever. There's no reasoning behind it. Nothing that I can find here is, well, I can justify you being so abrasive in the way that you're tackling these topics that they're talking about. No, he's just trying to stir the pot and see how he can profit off being offensive.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because we Jaron, Greg, and I actually looked the other day because I'd read something that said that the fourth cover of this, like the fourth issue's cover, was going to be changed and taken down,
right?
Because it is the original cover was a man of Middle Eastern descent, or like I think it's supposed to be Pakistani or something, with he's lynched outside of like on a movie theater kind of marquee, like he's hanging and his hands are tied behind his back and he's dead and his pants are down and his dick is cut off, and then he has a name tag on it that says Packy, which is like just
that's a cover.
That's the cover of the book.
But it was pulled, right?
It was pulled, yeah. That was that, but that was the cover of the fucking book.
That's a horrible insult to
Who's producing these?
Image.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
So just do you mind if I
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. So he writes as they do, as ones want to do, he writes a letter to his readers.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what I thought. He wrote this for those, I'm quoting, for those of you who've forgotten what life in these United States was like back in the dim lost days of early spring 2016, my issues, as the book indicates, include a fear of international and domestic terrorism and an aversion to identity politics. And he goes on to say that he thought Hillary Clinton had a lock and how disillusioned he became once Trump won. And that's why he wrote this. But still, it's just...
This is not the way to go about that.
I agree.
At all.
Yeah.
It's garbage. It's garbage. If I had a parakeet, I would put regular newspaper and not your comic book because it's not worth being shit on. Fuck you.
And he actually goes, it's weird because in the letter, he sounds like a rational person. Liberals who are weeping, and they're the ones who either A, didn't bother to vote, or to cast a protest vote against Hillary and end up with Trump. And you know what? I mostly agree with him, but he goes on to bitch about trigger warnings and cultural appropriation, and fuck you.
I hate you so much.
See, I first of all, everyone's individual opinions do not necessarily reflect the opinions of a whole entire podcast.
Fair enough.
I like Howard Chaykin's other stuff. Like I really like Midnight of the Soul.
The Star Trek stuff's good.
Star Wars.
Sorry, God.
Yeah, the original
No
Star
more
Wars stuff
Beijing
is
today.
awesome. But no, I didn't hate this, but I thought it could have been a little bit more, I don't know, concise or not concise, but more well organized. The parts of Frank's story are like really all over the place, and there's also in his segments there's like I get the idea that where there's always this information running through like the whole page. There's just too much shit here. There's like there are tweets and there are just like there's a line of looks like Arabic or Russian. Or there's a bunch of different languages just running through each frame. Mm-hmm. I guess it's kind of representing the fact that like this Frank dude lives in a world where he needs to know everything, or that's just like the high level political whatever. It's distracting. The rest of the comic isn't as distracting, but man, Frank's segments are just so fucking busy. It's hard to focus on anything. And
that's the main problem I have with it. Like I said, analysis paralysis is a problem.
Yeah.
And, I get what he's trying to say. By the way, Chris, don't read the end of that letter he writes to his people. He actually says, H.G. Wells made a point. Look it up. What a neckbeard douchey comment to say. It's just, I'm sorry. And you know what? A lot of people felt disillusioned and abandoned by their government in the end of 2016 after the elections. But he could have presented it in a more clear, concise way.
Yeah.
That didn't pander and didn't seem as pretentious. But again, and that's my take, although it seems the same as Chris. I'm not. Yeah, I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done.
You know what really hurt me about this?
What?
I really, really like the cover. It just doesn't represent the comic at all. Because I saw that and I was like, man, this is a very, very strong statement that you're saying here. What do you have to say? And he doesn't have anything to say.
It's like whenever the Lone Rangers finally got on the radio and he says, "What do you have to say to all your fans?" What does he say? Rock and roll.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you know what? You have a really great point because I actually do like this cover too. And you know what it reminds me of? Someone made a comic of, and I it's not Wonder Woman, it's Ms. Marvel. I made it as my profile picture for a while. It's Ms. Marvel dressed in, the red, white, and blue, and Trump's on the television and saying, "We must get rid of all Muslims," and she's a Muslim, Ms. Marvel, and she's crying because she has all these patriotic things on her wall, and she's just heartbroken because she's trying to protect a country whose president doesn't want her. And that kind of reminds me of this cover. This cover could have been a banner for a very strong statement that could have been better presented.
Well,
yeah.
The thing I like about this cover is that, like, I'm thinking back. For some reason, I thought about Perfect Strangers.
Why?
Because Balky came to the U.S. as a foreigner, and he's like the kind of foreigner that wears like a red, white, and blue vest. Like
right.
He's like he's so excited to be in America that he's going to wear all kinds of America shit. And like back in the day, if people from the Middle East were coming over, they might even be like, my wife, she wore an American flag burqa. Like we love America. Like we want to be here. Like that. But now this is like, wow, this is a strong statement. But like in the 80s or 90s, maybe it's like
I agree with everything you said, but I don't think cohesively your statement represents what I feel, because you're right. That's something that early on, 80s, 70s, I mean, beyond that, that's something that I could see somebody wearing and people cheering. And now it's a very aggressive statement. Like, what is the United States doing in these countries? And that's great. That's what you touched on there. I don't have any qualms with.
I would say in those countries, I'd say, what are we doing to these people from those countries in our country?
Yeah.
But both. Either way. Any way you look at it, this is a strong statement. The contents of this comic has nothing to do with it whatsoever. At all,
right.
period.
Or at least not yet. I'm willing to read the second issue, specifically because I have no idea what this is going to turn into. I am curious to see how this pans out, because like I think the kind of fractured style of this with two different types of stories going on. Once we've introduced, because this was just introducing those other characters. Once they're all together, maybe it'll be more of a kind of a better flow.
Fair enough.
I'm interested to see if that happens. I don't know, Jared. I feel like you haven't said much about this
because I don't care about politics at all. Like even remotely.
Yeah.
I didn't vote, and I promote not voting or giving a shit about any of this stuff. It doesn't matter.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
Will you read more, Chris?
Okay, Becky.
No.
Jared?
No.
I don't know where Greg went. I'll read the next one just because I'm just curious to see where it goes.
Tell you what, if you read it and it actually gets better, let me know.
All right.
Yeah, actually, I implore you to use social media and tell me that I'm wrong.
Okay.
I'll listen. I will listen. I will read the next thing. But fuck you, you're wrong.
Well, and I say that because I like his other works.
Yeah.
And I'm just a little because I mean this isn't just some neckbeard upstart who
No, this guy's a serious.
who
artist.
decided to jump off the red pill and write a comic book.
That's a really harsh insult.
I said he didn't. He isn't.
Oh, wait, off the red?
No, you said he jumped off the red pill.
No,
to
I
write
said
this.
he isn't some neckbeard who
Oh,
jumped off the
isn't.
red.
Oh, I thought. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
no,
okay,
I heard the same thing. I heard
Yeah.
you saying he
Okay.
jumped off the red pill. I was
will
like,
restate
wow.
it. He is not some neckbeard who jumped off the red pill Reddit forums and
Okay.
wrote a comic book. He is an actual known comic book creator who has done some amazing things. So I'm actually a little surprised and disappointed. So if you tell me that this gets better, I will read it.
All right,
Okay.
deal. We've got another one Shin's doing. J-Man, you want to say something about Game of Thrones?
Game of.
No, I haven't seen
Shows.
the third episode, so
I haven't seen the third episode.
yet.
The only thing I'd have to say about really the second or the third is that there's a lot of action.
yeah.
And they're bringing that hard. The first one was kind of not a lot happened. It was. I think if you're watching them like later on, you're probably really not going to like that episode because it just like reintroduced the characters.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which was like later on that's going to be like stupid because you're going to get to one episode and you're going to go to that next one, you're going to be reintroduced.
Well, it's kinda like
there's
the-
no time gap there for
Like
you.
The Walking Dead this season.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like, okay, who are they going to kill at the end of the end of the last episode, and then like, oh, it takes the whole next episode to find out. So just fucking do it.
Yeah.
If someone streams this on Netflix, that's going to seem real dumb. They seem like a huge waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 whole hours of like, oh, he's going to kill somebody. I don't know, maybe. Like, fuck you.
No,
Yeah.
this last season they're splitting up right into two. We're speculating. We don't know. To 2 pieces. Is
Well,
that how they're doing it?
They're doing fewer episodes with the same budget, which is why there's so much more action in all these newer episodes.
So is this season only going to be 7 or half or whatever?
I don't know. It's not going to be very many.
And there's only one more season, right?
I think
So is this actually the last season, or are they splitting it
There's
into
not-
two?
No,
there's next
this is
Part
the
one?
second to last season,
Okay.
but it could be considered part 1. You're right. They have added a lot more time to every episode this season, and the last episode is going to be a movie. It's like almost 2 hours long.
Wow.
Nice.
So they're doing what they can. I mean, they need to add a lot of special effects to these last seasons here, and HBO is just for the next season. They're going to be like, whatever, just bankrupt us because
Yeah, whatever money you need is just this guy. This is Joe. He has all the checks. So just when you need something, just ask him.
Jared and I are book readers before the show.
Yes, well before the show.
Me too.
And we. I'm sorry, I had no idea. You are too,
Yeah,
Jared?
Nope.
No.
it's like being in a weird club.
I was actually
It is.
going to. But the Weird Club is great because I loved being one of like the few people, the 20% of people who knew what was going to happen at the Red Wedding and going, "You fuckers! Oh, this is such a sweet episode." Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I read them all, and by the way, I like how Martin's been saying. By the way, the next book's going to be out, kind of shortly, maybe not.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No, it's never
And
coming.
also,
out.
I take no joy in being in this fucking club because every time someone starts talking about it that I don't know, they're like, oh yeah, Game of Thrones. Do you know anything about that? I'm like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Jared and I both we don't talk about it anymore.
No, 'cause
No.
I don't want to be the asshole at a party.
Yeah,
like, I just
exactly.
don't want to be that guy.
But you know what? You have a point because, I found that the people who only watch the show are now turning into the new assholes. And it doesn't matter what it's about. It could be The Walking Dead. It could be Game of Thrones. It could be American Gods. I found that the people for the people that read the books, I don't read. So you know what? Just shut up. And I'm like, wow, God, I hate you so much. I hate you so much.
If I saw that, I would immediately spoil everything for that person.
I just unfriend them.
I just don't understand literally saying out loud to other humans, I don't read.
You'd be surprised at how
Oh, no,
many
I hear it
times
sometimes.
I see it. And I used to teach at Pitt.
Yeah.
I actually had basketball players. My football players were actually good students. Ms. Zadel, I don't read. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I've heard it too often.
Now, I'm really angry this episode. Just everything we're doing so far, I'm very angry.
What can we do to get you in a happy state?
No, it's just it's gonna go dark.
No, let him go angry. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
We don't have
It's better
Don
that way.
Geely here.
Yeah, it's better that way. We need someone to be angry here.
That's
Yeah.
true.
No, fuck this shit. I hate that. Like, I can't believe somebody who's like, oh my god, I don't really read the books. That's fine.
Guys,
And you know what? I don't blame somebody for that. I don't, because I understand it was a TV show for a lot of people, especially some younger people than we are. And, you know,
Or people
I'm
who aren't
pushing
nerds.
33.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I understand. 10 years ago, that's fine.
Yeah.
But to go on social media and say, I did not read the books, but don't spoil anything for me. I'm gonna ruin your life. Everything you like, I'm ruining right now, and I'm taking notes no matter what you say from this point forward.
The crazy thing to me is that it's like one of the most popular shows in
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
ever. It's like Breaking Bad or whatever super popular that one episode of Dallas, whatever episodes of things.
Wait,
It's
what
like,
episode of Dallas?
Dallas.
Who killed JR?
Yeah.
It was like that's like a TV event.
Okay.
Like whenever TV events happen, Game of Thrones is a TV event all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And if I don't know, if you're one of those people who's like, I know everything about the show, it's like, have you not read the books then? Wouldn't you be curious just to see where this comes from? It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Holy shit.
It's you're a Redditor. You're a very active Redditor.
I am.
I love. Do you ever notice the cognitive dissonance that happens between Game of Thrones has two subreddits, the one for just the show and the one for the books.
Well, the IS or AS.
Well, there's a Song of Ice and Fire subreddit.
That's the
Exactly.
subreddit.
And there's
That's for
the
the
actual
books.
Game of
That's the
Thrones
book one.
Reddit.
Exactly, Song of Ice and Fire, and the quality of the posts between the two are so amusing. You could tell there's a level of intelligence and even grace to the posts of the Song and Ice and Fire people, and then the Game of Thrones, more boobs. Oh god.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Is people taking selfies with the actors of the show when they bump into the street?
Yes.
Lena Headey, bro. Yeah, she totally was digging. She was into me for sure.
Well, let me ask you guys a question, because this is something I was not to deal with. There's no spoilers. This is just an opinion question. And forgive me, I have no aphasia, so I'm really bad at names. The actor who played Khal Drogo, he's got to be Aquaman.
Yeah,
Just Momoa.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think he's a very good actor. I think he did. All right, hear me out. I think he did a great job with the material he had, and keep in mind that he was working with a nonsense language, which he had to kind of learn or at least memorize, and I think he did a great job. And so for example, translating that to say the first Justice League trailer, where he didn't do anything, he was just kind of smirking. Right. I'm like, oh my god, Aquaman. And the new release, the extended trailer where he's talking, I'm going, please don't talk.
Did you see Conan?
Yes.
Yeah, he wasn't great in that.
No, he was not.
I don't agree with you.
Okay.
Have you watched Frontier on Netflix?
I have not.
All you need to do is watch the first episode.
Okay.
And you'll be like, okay.
I'll give it a
Nope.
chance.
I meant to watch that and I haven't.
It's not a great... It's not great. It's not.
But if he's a good actor, I'd like to see that.
But yeah, he is very good in it. You watch it because of him.
All right.
And the second person who is kind of a related person is Emilia Clarke. I think she's very wooden in her acting.
Yeah, I didn't love her as Sarah Connor in the Terminator, the newest Genesis. I didn't. She was fine.
She was also
her
not,
accent was good, but
right. She was also not great in. Oh God, you guys know I get infusions, which means I have to watch The View or some Lifetime movie. She's in a movie called Me Before You. She falls in love with a guy in a wheelchair, and he's paralyzed. And
that's something I'm so not at all interested in watching.
you can't see me, but I'm like slamming my head again. Let's just say she's not a great actress, and it's weird because this has attracted amazing actors. I mean,
Yeah.
Maisie
Williams?
Yeah, she's
great.
amazing,
Yeah.
and she's in she plays a major part in the latest Doctor Who episodes.
Oh yeah.
She's great.
Well, she was in the earlier one, and then
they brought her back for a couple
I didn't see the new ones, but I saw the first one.
But young talent and old talent, I mean, There's some great actors, but those are the two actors that I don't think they're that great.
That's fair. Also, we used that as a joke earlier, but they also do. They find great boobs.
Yes.
They find great boobs. We can't take that away from them.
Did you know that? Forgive me. I'm sure this is way past spoilers now, but spoilers. Rob Stark's wife.
Yes.
Do you know that she's Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter?
No, that's really interesting.
Una Chaplin.
Okay.
Just fun fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't want to give you spoiler-free fun about Game of Thrones. But I don't know. I honestly, believe it or not, I have a lot of friends that don't watch the show, and you guys are some of the few subgroups that I actually get to talk about, and I just wanted to see your opinion, like those two actors, and then
I don't
what you
disagree
thought.
with you. They're not. Neither one of them in that show are great.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
But I'll
Daenerys
watch
is-
Frontier, Chris. I'll give it a shot.
Just try it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm going to warn you, it's not amazing TV.
What's the premise? Bumper sticker.
Canadian fur trappers.
Smile on my face. Okay.
I'm not kidding. That's it.
Okay.
That's almost as bad as the woman who's falling out with a guy in a wheelchair. Like,
Yeah. Oh my God, you guys! Some of my infusions take hours, but they're all the women watch the same shit. The View, the Rachel Ray. Ellen's not that bad. I like Ellen, but the rest of it, like, it's torture watching this shit.
I can't imagine.
Like Lifetime original movies.
I sat in a waiting room. And I thought it was The View, or it was one. No, it was
The Talk.
I don't know. It was some show where like there was like a cooking segment with two people who are way too excited about cooking something stupid.
It's called The Chew. Seriously, it's The Chew.
Okay, well, whatever it was, yeah. They were just like, hey, so it's 9:00 in the morning, and we're about to cook some eggs Benedict. Are you excited about this?
No.
And then some guy's like, I'm really excited to teach you about these eggs Benedict. And he says a bunch of stupid shit, and I want to fucking murder everyone around me.
Yeah.
And some people just like slack-jawed, staring at the television.
Yeah.
And it makes me so angry at everyone.
Oh. Seriously, being forced to watch that, I bring comic books and like books, real books to read because
Those shows, those people in those shows have to, because they're not dumb people, right? Like if you're on TV, for the most part, unless it's a reality show or something, you like if you're an actor or like a personality, you have to work really hard to be on TV, right?
yeah, of course.
Once you get to that spot where they're like, "Hey, you got your own talk show on ABC Morning," you might be like, "Holy shit, I'm making like millions of dollars and live in New York City," and then you wake up every morning like, and I have to be just this. Hey, all right, so we have this vapid shit that nobody cares about. This is background noise for a doctor's office waiting room, like that, and you have to do that every single day.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I can't imagine.
Well, here's something that you guys might be interested, because my friend works in childhood development, and he's working on a dissertation about how children's television, and I promise this relates to what you just said. If you look at Sesame Street from the 70s and even the 80s and childhood shows in the 80s, they don't have that wacky, horrible inflection talking to the kids like they're fucking stupid. And if you look at children's shows now from Nickelodeon and Disney, it's almost as like every child is dumb and needs that
Swiper, no swiping.
Yeah.
Bring out the map.
Hey,
the map.
But
They sing about the fucking map for like 10
yeah,
minutes.
seriously, watch Sesame Street from the 1970s. There are even times when there are adult jokes.
Oh, no, well, not just that, but do you remember that when Mr. Hooper actually died?
Died?
The actor?
Yeah.
That episode, I've watched on YouTube recently. I like almost cried.
Yeah,
Because
I did cry.
It's all the adult human actors explaining to Big Bird why Mr. Hooper isn't around anymore, and they say like because he died.
Yeah.
And Big Bird's like, well, is he coming back? And they're like, no, Mr. Hooper is dead. He's not coming back.
Yeah.
And it's fucking really sad.
Yeah.
And it's like hard to watch.
But it's true, and it's.
Yeah.
I think that's a necessary. Like they've said that, but I guess my point is that it's a change in television, and like you said, talk shows in the 80s and 90s weren't that stupid inflection and that false energy that we see now, and it annoys me. I'm done.
No, I just wrote down R.I.P. Mr. Hooper. So we have one more book, Jimmy's Bastards, which I really liked.
I like to.
I fucking love this shit. So this is an Aftershock book. Shout out to Aftershock. They do a lot of good work out there. Especially this book. This book's fucking awesome. So this is a Garth Ennis book. He is the co-creator and writer, and then Russ Braun is the other co-creator, and he's the artist. We have John Kalitz as the colorist, Rob Steen is the letterer, then various cover artists and stuff. So this is a flat out James Bond parody. A la, like, because Archer's like an American version of a James Bond parody. This character is British, and it starts off with him shooting a terrorist in the dick.
Yeah, that's the first page.
So the concept is that the title gives it away. So the concept is that there's this James Bond type character, and that if James Bond fucked as many women as he has, with presumably no protection, because he's just like sometimes he'll just like bang somebody in a casino or something, he would have a bunch of illegitimate children. And the idea is that all of these children have gotten together in this sort of cult, and they're going to try and kill him because he wasn't there for any of them, and they all hate his fucking guts. And on the way to that's the kind of end reveal, but it doesn't matter because that's the title of the book. Yeah. On the way to that, there's just so much great James Bond parodying, and then and also just ridiculous shit. Like it opens with him on this airship that's about to crash, and the person behind this terrorist attack is a guy named Theophilus Trigger, and this guy, all he does is shout things that are triggering at people, and hopefully one of those things will trigger something to like disable them, I guess. And so his first rant is he's shouting at Jimmy. He says, "Fuck you." Jimmy's last name is Regent. "Fuck you, Regent. Pregnancy, blood, abortion for dinner, retarded cousin who wanks in your dreams, fear of castration, photo of Thatcher, rotting child with erection holes." Like he only says shit like that the whole time he's on every page he's on. I couldn't stop laughing. Like that was really, really funny. And it's just this clusterfuck of James Bond extremism. And I'd also just like to bring up this little thing. So he's the equivalent of Q's laboratory of all the gadgets, and this thing bumps into his foot, and there's a word bubble coming from it that says, "You people, you people, you people, you people, you people," and he says, "What the fuck is that?" And the Q character says, "It's a microaggressor." It just drives around saying "you people." That's fucking brilliant to me. I don't know. I love this book. I already told you the plot of it, and it's just gratuitous, and I hope that it gets even more ridiculous. I really liked it.
I thought it was really clever, and I like how much of it. So just much like Archer, he's kind of an asshole. There's a woman escaping is it a blimp that's going down? He goes, "There's a large woman who's trying to get out, but she can't fit," and he goes, "Out you go, Jumbelina." And I like how he's like fucked every single partner, so they keep replacing him. And it looks like we've got a Lana type person who finally won't take his shit.
She's even like half black too.
Yeah, she is. And God, he's such a jerk, but he's obviously good at what he does. I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
And at the cultists at the end, the first couple things they say imply that one of his kids is going to try and like kill him or like fuck him or whatever, like not fuck him, but try to seduce him so they can kill him. And I'm wondering if it's his new partner.
Oh,
but
is that the whole premise of the "Get Daddy, Get Daddy"?
Yeah,
they keep chanting it.
These are all his children, and they're all trying to kill him.
They all look like they're adults, though, and he's not super old. So,
well, James Bond doesn't get older.
Okay, that's true.
I'm assuming that's part of the joke, like that, because this whole parody thing, like it's not realistic because there's the chimp with like a human brain. At the front.
That was weird.
Oh man, that was the most gruesome panel on there. Was he ripped a guy's face off and
he's holding a leg, I think. Too.
Yeah.
Skin
his head just below him.
Yeah, I like that they added that because then it kind of gives you a framework to work within. Like okay, so this is a world where there's like a chimp clown with a human brain on the top of his head. Like okay, all bets are off.
You
So
shot me in my human brain.
yeah, it's not ridiculous to think like he is a James Bond type character who just has been the same age for 60 years.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I love the quip. Getting back to the trigger guy, he's like, I have no safe space.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, like this is great. It's whimsical. It's clever. Yeah, I really liked it.
Is the time frame? I see Churchill posters,
Yeah.
but there's modern day things lying around. Do you think that there's an inkling of a time frame, or is it just modern?
Well, they say ISIS, so
Oh, okay, fair enough.
it's definitely like within the past couple of years.
Okay.
He calls them like an ISIS wannabe or something like that. But yeah, those ISIS wannabes have done enough. Yeah, so it's now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Chris, did you?
I'm not. I mean, I would read it again. I would. I don't like it that much. I don't.
Fair enough.
All right,
I don't like fun things.
that's true.
I don't.
He said he hates fun.
Yeah, Chris
yeah.
does hate fun.
I don't like fun things. This is a fun comic. It is.
Chris hates fun. J-Man, what is?
Yeah, it's fine. That's about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greg, I feel like you would like this.
I'd be lying immensely if I said I wasn't really entertained by it. Yeah, it's every page is an adventure.
You guys really like James Bond too, which I don't give a shit about James Bond at all.
You know what? I like James Bond, and I don't like this comic because of James Bond.
Okay.
Because it's reminiscent of a previous James Bond. It's reminiscent of
Like a
the
Roger
Sean
Moore?
Connery one.
I'll say Roger Moore.
Yeah,
the goofy
that's
one.
fine. But it's not the Daniel Craig like one that we're
No.
No,
not even close.
I miss the witty, using his mind and his intellect to get out of situations, James Bond. And Q was only a supporting role. And now I think someone actually did a rational analysis of how many words James Bond says in the Daniel Craig episodes, and it's like 80% less.
Yeah.
Which makes me sad.
Yeah, because the original James Bonds, like a lot of them are ridiculous, but he does oftentimes use his mind instead of his like fists.
And his witticisms are part of the charm. And now James Bond is just Michael Bay explosion, Michael Bay explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only Daniel Craig movie that I would say like holds up and is probably like might even be my favorite James Bond movie is Casino Royale.
Yeah, it's great.
Which is taken from the first book.
Yeah, of course. The train scene between he and Vesper whenever they first meet.
Oh my god,
that's like up there with any dialogue scene from like it's something about like something you noticing your perfectly formed ass. You noticed even an accountant has an imagination. Like, it's so good.
Oh yeah, like and them trying to break each other down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back and forth is really great. And the kind of in contrast, the dialogue is great, but also that fucking parkour scene is amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
it's Sebastian Foucan is like one of the founders of parkour. Is that black guy he's chasing?
Yeah.
and he's doing all those crazy fucking moves.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of that stuff was like practical. Those were practical effects. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's just him doing crazy parkour shit
Yeah.
on top of a construction site.
And what's awesome about that too, like showing detail or whatever characterization through action or whatever.
Right.
The parkour guy, Sebastian
Foucan.
dove through the window, like did like a leaping jump. And,
Yes.
like, feet first through some like ventilation window or
He
something.
grabs
above.
up the top. Yeah, it's called a swing through.
Okay, he does that, and then James Bond comes just runs straight through the wall.
Yeah, through the drywall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's like James Bond is a blunt instrument.
Yeah.
He's like, this guy, he doesn't know parkour, but he is going to get this fucking guy.
Yes.
So he's like, well, I can probably run through this drywall.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
These are times that I kind of wish Degnan was here so I can ask him. Obviously, Marvel has long series that never seem to end, but at the same time, we know the alternative books have concrete ends at the maximum being 5.
Yeah.
Aftershock, how much do they run? Animosity is on its 8th issue. I was just wondering, Pestilence only has 2. There's also a long wait between Aftershock issues, but do we know anything about how many issues, or is it one of those companies that's going to test the water, see how it does?
I don't know, because I can't think of any Aftershock books that are over off the top of my head, but I'm also kind of drunk, so I don't know.
Eleanor's coming out with its 4th.
Yeah. Well, there's some other ones that are longer, like, Rough Riders already had a whole first
Right.
arc.
But it's done. And it's
it's
done,
not.
but it's coming. Well, there's also spin-offs.
Well, no. There's the second arc is happening now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So I don't know if that's obviously it's not a limited series. That's an ongoing. So I don't know. So I don't know any Aftershock books that have ended.
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
Just curious.
I could be wrong though. Yeah. I don't know. Do we have anything else to add? Jimmy's Bastards. All right.
No.
Will you? Oh, Greg's peeing. Whatever. I think he would read it.
We already did this.
Did we?
Yeah.
No.
For this? No, we didn't.
We haven't
No.
gone through. If
Okay.
we ask people if they're going to read
He
it.
said he asked me though. Yeah.
No, I asked what you thought about it.
Okay. I thought that was my ending statement.
Oh, no. I was just
Go
trying
ahead.
to, yeah. Chris, would you read more?
No.
Becky?
Yeah.
Jimmy?
Nope.
I'm going to say yes for Greg.
Yeah.
Greg did say
Greg
yes.
did say yes. He said yes. I would also read more. I thought it was great. So, that's Jimmy's Bastards from Image. Check it out. It's pretty sweet. Unless you're Chris, who doesn't like fun things. So we're going to wrap this shit up. You can find us at grownuphumans.com, epicastnetwork.com /grownuphumans, iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, YouTube at Grownup Human Comic People, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram at grownuphumans. Email us, grownuphumans@gmail or grownuphumancomicpeople@gmail. And say goodbye to everybody. Chris,
Fart noise.
Becky,
Bye.
Jamie. Hey, Greg, say goodbye real loudly.
Bye.
So, did you
random
say it?
I'm Greg. I say goodbye. Just
Okay.
say goodbye. Man,
Greg says bye.
I'm Greg.
I'm Jared. That was the show, and thank you for listening.
Grown-up
Goodbye.
Human comic people. Grown-up human comic people.
Epicast.